All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I think this is actually a really interesting episode. All right, so look, you know my love for AI stocks if you've been watching my videos really for most of this year. I got really loud mainly around March, and dude, for lack of words, from March till June, I was just beating the drum for AI stocks, right? I think it's fair to say that most of them did cool down. And I think when we look at NVIDIA, Palantir, and AI here, I think it's going to paint a really interesting story, okay? First and foremost, I think we've all established NVIDIA is the king of the AI stocks, all right? Destroyed that earnings monster gap up mainly because of earnings, and it was all tied to AI, right? So I think this alone speaks to that. From there, again, just crushing all-time highs, right? From there, I think we've kind of established, and look, when I say we, I do mean me, but end of the day, no one seems to like disagree with me, right? And if you do, please throw it in the comments. I'm not here to like hate on your thoughts or like pretend I'm all knowing or any silly stuff like that, right? But I think I've established that Palantir is number 2 of these 3, and then AI is 3rd, okay? And I think not. I know, because again, I do know what these 3 look like. I do look at these 3 almost daily, right? So I know the fact that NVIDIA and Palantir are looking good, but AI actually is not, has me worried for the 4 lower ones that I'm going to talk about in the next video. All right, Bullfrog, BBAI, Soundhound, and dude, I forgot the 4th one. Holy crap, that happened in the last video too. But that's how you can tell how interested I am in those other ones, right? But nonetheless, so that's what I'm going to say it one more time. NVIDIA and Palantir are doing well. AI just doesn't look like it is. And again, I think that's indicative of what the other 4 sub ones are going to do, right? But dude, I hope you see it before I talk about this. NVIDIA looks fantastic, right? So, but before we go any deeper, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video on the internet, comment good or bad. Look, if you disagree with me, I'm not here to hate on you or argue, right? I would love to have a good, educated conversation, but anything you can do really does help me out. Otherwise, just your time is beyond appreciated, all right? So let's talk about NVIDIA. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually a Twitter conversation I had with someone not too long ago, all right? So the last time I covered this might have been here or here, okay? I remember being worried that NVIDIA was going to lose the 20 moving average. And if you were looking at NASDAQ itself, the NASDAQ composite, it was actually signaling the same thing. Are we going to lose the 20 moving average or not? Okay. And look at what's happening here. We'll obviously come back to that again, right? But NVIDIA had me a little worried at these 2 points. It literally mimicked NASDAQ, which obviously had me worried as well. And one of the things I said was, look, I think if it's going to come down, it might come to like the 50, maybe even no lower than 380. All right, I was kind of saying 380, 390. Obviously, neither even happened, right? It never lost the 20. Shows the importance of these 2 lines, right? But someone in Twitter actually said it might drop into the like higher to mid 200s. I don't really remember the exact number, but I think 280 was the number. All right, and I very quickly disagreed with that for so many reasons. Number 1, this gap up line is no joke. Number 2, this 50 line is no joke. Number 3, and was at the time and still is, the 100 was still over the $300 line. Wow, those are too many numbers to say, but this 100 moving average was still over $300 at the time. So to fall below 300 would have been this like monstrous loss of 4 moving averages and a total gap loss, right? Like that wasn't going to happen. And like I said, it didn't even hit my worst expectations because again, good things happen over the 8 and the 20. And you don't assume you're going to lose them until you lose them. And if you lose it once, you wait for confirmation. You know what I mean? So just, I hope that made a lot of sense. I hope that wasn't a bad rant to go on, but in my head, that was some good stuff to talk about, all right? And what's happening now, you know what we did? We just broke another all-time high number, right? Because this was all-time highs. We then cool down. We then break it and keep running. Look, 4% doesn't seem like a lot, all right? Especially when I'm looking at other tickers that are bringing home. Dude, I just covered Nikola, right? And Nikola dropped like a 60 burger, right? I see that. I know that, right? But that's not what NVIDIA is. What NVIDIA is this. It's just never losing the 20 moving average since January. There are not a lot of stocks that can say that, all right? And man, just don't let the noise of bigger movers distract you from what NVIDIA is. NVIDIA is the tortoise that wins the race. NVIDIA does not care what the hare, what the rabbit is doing 50 miles ahead, because you know what? Come lap 6,750, when everyone's been running for like 50, 60, 70, 80 miles, dude, that tortoise is chill. He's been walking the whole time, baby. So just NVIDIA, don't let the noisier, louder, bigger, flashier stocks distract you. This thing's a champ. This thing's a beast. And don't forget, these moving averages, when they're your friends, they're your best friends in the world. They really are, all right? And at this point, I can't, look, this right here isn't even a loss of it, because this is one single bad candle under it. You know what I mean? Like, we've never like lost and confirmed. We lost, that's not confirmation. You know what I mean? We lost, but that's not confirmation. Like, dude, this is what this is supposed to be doing. And again, all we're doing is breaking all-time highs and running. What we're going to do again is something like this. We're going to keep on going. We're going to plateau. We're going to plateau, and we're going to run. Honestly, in my opinion, like, this is not done. This is nowhere near done. Nowhere near done. I for sure see this 90 RSI. I do. On any other stock, I would say, get ready to cool down. This thing knows how to live up here. This thing knows how to live a little bit higher. This thing is now learning how to live a little bit higher. Like, dude, NVIDIA, there is no better place for your money than all-time highs. I know it sounds silly because everyone's taught like, no, buy low, sell high. Dude, there's no better place for your money than all-time highs. No better place, all right? Over all the moving averages, over all the dude, zooming out, right? Like, there's nothing but black. There's nothing but what I call blue skies. Not like, this is the black hole abyss of scariness. This is all-time lows. This is blue skies in LA with white clouds and seagulls as you're looking at palm trees. This is money in the bank, all right? So NVIDIA, one more time, this 4% day does not look like a lot. That behind that, after breaking all-time highs, this is loud and proud, baby. You know what I mean? So NVIDIA, crushing it. Palantir. Look at this thing, all right? So what NVIDIA did was copy the NASDAQ a lot more, all right? NASDAQ never loses the 20 right there. NASDAQ never loses the 20 right there, all right? As we come to Palantir, we actually lose the 20 right here. Not right here, arguably this one day, but yeah, not enough for me to call it like this is a loss right here, right? So NVIDIA is actually able to do better than Palantir. NVIDIA has also been riding above these moving averages for a long time too, right? Like, it's been since January that it's been running above the lines, right? So there are a number of reasons why Palantir is not as good as NVIDIA, okay? That said, look, this thing is doing really well. It's obviously it's doing better than AI, what's the next one I'm going to cover. And what I like is that we're playing with this line. Just none of these three candles are good enough. Like, I really would have loved a nice big takeoff that could have taken us from 16 to 18. That's more than 10% right there, because that's also a really quick drop right there. So like that red, I would have actually hoped would have been a quick green. Look, 81 is definitely a higher RSI, but literally not that long ago, we were at a 91 RSI. You can see it on the box over there on the left, and then 90, and then 80s, and then 80s, and like, this thing I think is actually still going to come to this. You know what I mean? And look, after this, there's a little baby thing right here. But in all honesty, it might even run up to 23. I'll draw this because I think at this point we kind of have to. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit harder of a line, this 18. If 18 breaks, I don't think this is going to be much, and I think we actually might come to 23 pretty quickly. But this is doing well. That's a good MACD that, again, I do believe can sit and live in a high RSI and still go up. That looks like it's a MACD that went really high, cooled off, is getting ready to go back up. And hey, look at volume, all right? I wish it was more. I wish we were breaking the 50 moving average, but it's improving and it's consistent. I just need it to be more. And at least, look, minimum we can easily see. We used to be down here. Our 50-day average was at 28, let's call it 29 million. You can see average 50 over there. We are now averaging 87 million, right? So volume's going up, and we can easily see that in the 50-day average, right? It makes it a little bit harder to break that line, but hey, more volume is good. You know what I mean? So yeah, Palantir again is doing well. It's dancing with this line. We just really need to break it, and in all honesty, it actually might even happen tomorrow. So this is a great weekly. This thing has not been trading for 200 weeks. There is no 200 line. You'll see over there, the average 100 is the last of the moving average line. So we are over all the moving averages. And again, this was a really high RSI. This definitely came back down, and it's ready to go back up. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like this. Honestly, I think 21, 23 is probably a realistic target here, okay? So AI. Now look at AI, all right? AI just isn't as good as the other two, all right? It's not an ugly chart, and in a lot of ways, it's a little similar to Palantir maybe, but not really. So first off, this does not hold the 20 moving average right there, all right? NVIDIA never loses it. Palantir does, right? It does. AI does, okay? Right here, it doesn't lose this right here either. And I'm not going to go flash through it either, but none of the other two do either. The one thing that this can't do that the others did, if this one isn't breaking this line, it's not even testing this line just yet, right? NVIDIA broke its line and is above it. Palantir is living on the line. Again, that I'll show. I just showed it. I don't know if you want, but like we're living on the next line right now. AI isn't. AI is actually, look, still over the 8 and the 20. I'll take it, right? I'm not necessarily screaming bad things here, but where those other two look like they're going up and running, this one I'm actually still not sure, all right? And again, I think the fact that this one is a little weaker, for lack of words, makes me worried that the next set that I'm going to talk about aren't ready yet, because I would want AI, this C3 AI stock, to do well before I even kind of start considering those other tier ones, right? That tier 2. Because again, this one is the lowest of the tier 1s, and I would expect the lowest one to be doing well before I even look at tier 2. You know what I mean? So just something to consider, all right? That's really all I'm saying. Again, is this a horrible, scary death chart? No, not at all. We're still over the 8 and the 20. MACD actually doesn't look fantastic. Actually, do you see the red is over the green and it kind of looks like it's coming downward? Volumes definitely dropped. Like these don't look fantastic and this doesn't look fantastic, right? But hey, I'm not here saying we're going to drop to 20 or even below. I don't think we'll lose the 50 moving average if this thing comes down, okay? But yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think I'd be that surprised if this thing came to 32. Maybe if it came to like 36, I actually wouldn't be that surprised. And that is a 10% drop from where we're at right now, right? But where I think the other two are going to just go up and keep going up, Palantir still needs a little bit to prove. NVIDIA has nothing to prove, right? So we've kind of worked our way down from super confident, need a little more, to like, I'm actually worried this might lose 10% here, right? So just some food for thought. Again, I like to compare the three as well as look at them individually, right? So look, this isn't a bad weekly chart. And hey, maybe next week we'll do a little better here, but yeah, this one's just lagging a little bit. I think that's a pretty easy thing to say there. But yeah, hey, look, we are actually still over all the moving averages here as well, right? So again, I'm not trying to take away from anything on this one, but yeah, the other ones just do look a little better, right? So food for thought. Again, let me know if you disagree with anything. Otherwise, as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you.